smart enough to memorize the mitochondria, but not file taxes. Have you ever had that moment, maybe right after high school graduation, where you looked at your diploma and thought, okay, now what? I know I did. I remember sitting there, a proud Eritrean Orthodox Tewahedo kid, dreaming of becoming a surgeon, yet realizing I didn't know what credit was or how deductibles worked. But I could label every part of a cell and tell you how the Krebs cycle functions. The moment made me ask, why are we so prepared for exams, but not for everyday life? Today, I want to share how communication, specifically educational communication, shapes how students are or aren't prepared for real-world independence, especially financial literacy. We'll explore how school systems communicate priorities, how that affects young adults' readiness for adulthood, and what research we can do to fix it. School shapes our understanding of the world through communication, and right now they're communicating that memorization matters more than life skills, but there's consequences to that. First, I'll explain how curriculum communication shapes what we value. Second, we'll look at real-life consequences, especially in financial independence. Finally, I'll show an example of how this can change, including how we, as future professionals and leaders, can help lead the change. Julia Wood in Communications Mosaics explains that public speaking and education are a form of rhetorical communication, meaning they're not just teaching the facts, they're telling us what matters. When schools emphasize tests and academic jargon over basic skills, they're sending a message. Your success is about how well you memorize, not how well you live. An article from the Journal of Educational Change calls this the leanification of education, where learning becomes about passing standardized tests instead of becoming informed, capable citizens. Think about it. We learn how to graph parabolas, but not how to build credit. We write essays about Shakespeare, but not about financial aid or rent. The communication received in schools is structure, but it's missing the structure of life. In Orthodox Tewahedo tradition, we believe in wisdom paired with action. Proverbs and liturgies don't just give knowledge, but guide you to live righteously. Imagine if school was built with that principle, teaching you how to live, not just to test. Now, what happens when schools don't teach life prep? A 2023 article from the Journal of Financial Counseling and Planning found that students who never received financial education were 3 times more likely to fall into credit card debt before the age of 25. And many students don't even understand what compound interest is until it's too late. It's like being thrown into the operating room without ever scrubbing in. And I see this as someone who wants to become a surgeon. We train doctors for years before they hold a scalpel, but students, we give them 18 years of school and send them into adulthood without showing how to navigate taxes or housing. It's not just financing, it's cooking, insurance, contracts, communication skills that make or break job interviews or relationships. These are all things that shape independence, but are skipped over in favor of college readiness, which somehow doesn't include basic living. Now you may ask, how can we change the conversation? The good news, there is a changing movement. According to a 2021 article in Communication Education, educators are pushing for a broader curriculum called Life Communication, which includes conflict resolution, negotiation, and financial talk in classrooms. And you know what? We don't have to wait for schools to catch up. We can start these conversations in our communities, our youth groups, and our own families. I've seen Eritrean parents sit down and talk about responsibility, but often it's not translated into our academic spaces. That's where we can build the gap. If I become a surgeon, I want to give free workshops to teens, not just about anatomy, but about applying to college, budgeting, or being independent. Because communication is power and we need to share it. And honestly, I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck until I finally start making real money in my 30s. It takes over a decade of school, residency, and sacrifice to become a surgeon. By the time I'm financially stable, my friends might already be married, my parents might be near retirement, and the time I needed money for joy, for travel, for self-care during med school stress, or just to feel like a normal young adult will already be gone. That's why teaching financial literacy early matters, because your future happiness shouldn't have to wait until you're too exhausted to enjoy it. So let's go back to the graduation moment, the one where you feel proud but unprepared. Excuse me. The moment isn't your fault. It's the result of a system that communicates academics over life. But we don't have to accept that. We can change how we communicate what matters in schools, in families, and in our futures. We can tell the next generation, yes, learn the mitochondria, but also learn how to pay your bills and chase your dreams. Because real education doesn't just prepare you to pass tests, it prepares you to live. Thank you.